What's up guys, WOOO here, back again with another Division 2 video. Welcome back. Today's video, this is my in-depth, detailed breakdown of every chess piece talent in the game that I feel is viable for skill builds, and I'm going to explain why and demonstrate for a little video you'll see on the screen once I go through each particular talent. Guys, I do feel that about 90% of the talents within the game, chest piece or backpack, you can synergize on a skill build. Guys, synergize. It has to have some kind of semblance of balance with the next piece or your build. And hopefully this detailed breakdown helps new and returning players and even some experienced players. But of course, I'd love to hear your opinions in the comment section below. So if you enjoy this, you enjoy the content, you know what to do, thumbs doodle, it helps me out the channel. And of course guys, if you're new to the channel, drop the WOOO bomb on the sub button, ding the bell to be notified when I upload my content. Guys, let's woo this. Guys, I'm going to see Emma Richards right here, and I'm going to open up this menu and go into the recalibration library. What I want to do is go into body armor, and then talents, and then check out every single talent available in the game for high ends. Now, in terms of exotic chest piece talents, there's the Ridgeway armor and there's the tardigrade. The tardigrade, in a nutshell, is a really good defensive healer build piece. If you're in a role with a healer build, I would take a look at the tardigrade chest piece. It offers so much utility. Also, that explosive resistance and health and armor would also help you and your teammates. There are different alternatives, don't get me wrong, but the tardigrade is an excellent choice. So bear with me, check that out and see what you think if you put a nice healer build together with that piece on. Now let's talk about high-end pieces in particular. We're going to start at the top and work our way down to the bottom. First piece is Tag Team. This is the first talent I want to talk about. The last enemy you have damaged with a skill is marked. Dealing weapon damage to that enemy consumes the mark to reduce active cooldowns by 6 seconds. The cooldown is 4 seconds. Now, how I run with this particular talent, and I don't use it too often, but when I do, I use it with an assault turret and a skill that has a really high cooldown. For example, Cluster Seeker Mines, as an example. And what I tend to do with this, again, I have my assault turret, which will change target when need be. Simply because I want to get this cooldown reduced as soon as possible on my primary skill, which is the skill with a really high cooldown. Again, for example, Seeker Mines, for example, Sticky Bombs, for example, something that is 20 seconds and above. Another example would be the Flame Turret. Okay, but again, using the Assault Turret, you can't do that. So if you can use a Striker Drone with this. But I just feel that the best way to roll with this, if you look at a build in particular, what I would do is center around the Assault Turret and have a skill that has a really high cooldown that will make sure by cleverly and intelligently using your second skill, being the Assault Turret, to tag those enemies, then for you to shoot said enemies, and what happens, you reduce it by 6 seconds. That's what I would do. And again, there's many ways how to roll with this, but that's the way I would use it, and I feel that way would offer the most benefit for you on your skill build, and ultimately creating more damage, more carnage, because your skills are happening more often. The Tag Team, very good talent to use. Is it the best? I don't think it is, but it's still a very good viable talent on most builds. So checking out Tag Team is pretty cool. The second talent I want to talk about is Kinetic Momentum. When in combat, each skill generates a stack while active or not on cooldown. Stacks increase your total skill damage by 1% and total skill repair by 2%. Up to 15 stacks per skill, lost when on cooldown. Kinetic Momentum, guys, is one of the best talents in the game for raw damage. Is it the best? I don't think it is. I like Kinetic Momentum. If I'm going to build a skill build where I'm concentrating solely on single player damage for me that also has survivability, I would use Kinetic Momentum on any build. I think that's going to get you the most all-round damage. With that being said, it also offers a nice chunk of skill repair also, which is tasty. So it offers that survivability and is great for hybrid style builds. So you have that combination of skill damage, which will heighten due to 2 skills that consistently do damage. For example, Assault Turret, Striker Drone, amazing combination. We know that by now. But then, of course, yes, you're going to get extra skill damage and skill repair. So what you could do, guys, you could roll with a Fixer Drone that's consistently fixing. And as it's been buffed by dealing damage to NPCs, your heal will be greater, which means you have more survivability. So on a skill tier 6 hybrid, which is possible, you would have some mean fat heals with this, and Kinetic Momentum also that nice sexy flat out damage. So for me, Kinetic Momentum is an excellent choice of chest piece talents to use, even without the skill repair option, guys. Kinetic Momentum is on point on most builds. Next talent, guys, is Skilled. Now, skill kills have a 25% chance to reset skill cooldowns. And again, in this video, I'm not going to go through the perfect pieces, just the generic high-end drops. So with this, skill kills is at 25% chance, which is a 1 in 4. Now, for me, I would not focus this on legendary content. It is an excellent, guys, it is an excellent chest piece talent. You don't have, again, any increase in damage, but you have that 1 in 4 chance of acquiring your skill back because you have killed an NPC. So for me, if I'm going to run a skilled build, what I would look at with this is I want to increase my skill damage as high as physically possible. So for example, I would not use this on a status effect build. I would use this on a skill damage build and heighten that damage through the roof, which will only increase the chance, 1, of getting more kills, and 2, increasing the opportunity to get skill proc more often. Now, the perfect piece, again, will add a little bit more percentage, we know that, but based on skilled, 25% chance, it's, again, a 1 in 4 chance. For me, when I use skilled, it is, I don't really see the huge benefit of using skilled. It doesn't get me as many times with it to proc as I'd like to, and that's just my poor, unfortunate luck. But still, it is a very useful talent to have. And again, something like skilled and maybe calculated on the backpack with hardwired could cause some serious damage and get them skills back ultra duper quick. And that's a good option. That's a good way to roll with skilled. Is look at raising that skill damage size possible and see about bagging the skill talent and see if that works for you. But for me, I think it's a good talent, not an excellent talent. Second one is Spotter. Now for Spotter is a really good choice for hybrids. I would not use this on a skill build. I've never really seen the point, other than when you'd have Technician and this talent was absolutely broke through the laser pointer, some absolutely crazy carnage you could output using the Spotter talent. Now guys, it is a real redundant skill talent to use on skill builds. So for me, I would not use Spotter. Not anymore. Old days, yes. Nowadays, no. Not to say it's a bad talent, because this is great for, yes, hybrid builds, because you're getting that amplified damage, which is weapon and skill damage. So you are going to get some nice bonus damage to those pulsed enemies, who will only work, in my opinion, with Technician and that laser pointer that has to be equipped on your chosen weapon. It is a good talent, not best. I'd avoid this for your skill builds, in my opinion. There are better talents to use. Moving on, we have Empathic Resolve. What does this do? Repairing an ally increases their total weapon and skill damage by 3 to 15% for 20 seconds. 1 to 7% if self. Effectiveness is increased by your skill tier. So again, we're talking about skill builds in this video and being at skill tier 6. So effectively, you are going to get that 15% extra weapon and skill damage for your teammates. And that is a nice boost. It's a really, really nice boost. Now for you, quite selfishly, you will get 7% extra weapon and skill damage. And you could say, yeah, that's a nice little kick. It's damage I didn't have, but there are better ways to accrue more damage, much, much easier. For a healer build, this is a good option to go with. A lot of people use Empathic Resolve simply because, yes, it's that heal. They like those fat heals, and not to mention, buffing people's weapon and skill damage is integral. And that 15% extra skill damage goes a long, long way. I feel it's, again, a very, very good talent to use on your healer build. I would not use this on any other build. It has to be on a healer build, in my opinion. But still, a very, very good talent to use. One of the most overlooked and underused talents in the game is Explosive Delivery. Whenever you throw a skill, 1.5 seconds after landing, it creates an explosion damaging enemies within 5 meters. Damage scales with skill tier, dealing 25 to 100% damage of a concussion grenade at once per skill. Now, when we look at explosive delivery, the first thing you say is, it really, I mean, what's it going to offer me and my build? What's it going to offer the team? Well, it's going to offer the team very little, but for you, whether you run this solo, whether you run this in a group, it has a real high impact in certain elements of missions. So, for example, if you're running with a cluster seeker mine or you're running with an explosive seeker mine, you could be rolling with the assault turret as an example. Once you deploy this, not just pop it up just next to you, you again throw this said skill. Once it lands in that 5 meter radius, what happens? It pops an explosion. That explosion will deal the damage of your concussion grenade. And if you're at skill tier 6, you're looking about 1.7 or 1.8 million quite easily damage to any NPCs within that 5 meter radius. So, again, for example, legendary content, for example, even parts of heroic content, you can create some extra carnage on your skills and with these explosions. But again, with that being said, they have to be 2 skills that you would have to throw, i.e. seeker mines, i.e. assault turret, and so on, so on. Explosive decoy is amazing, may I add. Not to mention the pulse, the remote one, works with this chosen skill variant. I like this talent. I think this is a fantastic talent to use, and highly underused, guys. It really is. But it is an excellent talent, may I add. And with this, the really good thing with this, guys, the good thing with this is it is so varied in how you use it. It's so, again, the diversity and what you could use on your skill builds with this particular chess piece talent is amazing. So guys, check this talent out. It is excellent. The next one, guys, is Intimidate. Now this, again, I'm going to go over this very, very quickly. Intimidate, again, while you have bonus armor, amplifies total weapon damage by 35% to enemies within 10 meters. This is not a skill build talent. I would not use this on any skill build whatsoever. If I was going to use this, pair it with Adrenaline Rush, and you know what's going to happen. You're going to get the bonus armor every time you approach NPCs. Yeah, you have leadership on the backpack. That's also an option. Guys, it's not a skill build talent. I would not use this on any skill build because it has zero, in my opinion, zero liability or anything in any skill build. And I'm crazy. I like doing crazy off-meta builds. I wouldn't use this on a skill build whatsoever. The next one, guys, is something I do want to kind of rule the roost about, and that is Overwatch. After staying in cover for 10 seconds, increases you and your allies' total weapon and skill damage by 12%, as long as you remain in cover or in a cover-to-cover move. This, guys, is one of the best chess piece talents in the game. If you're going to play legendary content, this is one talent I would highly sought after. Why is that? Simply, you're spending most of your playtime within legendary content. I'd say easily 80% within cover behind, again, some kind of cover or barricade to stop yourself being one-shot, and that's a fact. What you do need, again, for team synergy, is someone rolling with Overwatch in your camp. Why is that? That 12% weapon and skill damage goes such a long way. So, for example, what I roll with when we do legendary missions, we roll with a nice concoction of a group. So, as an example, we run with a skill damage build. We run with a skill damage healer build. We run with a status effect build. And the fourth choice is someone who's rolling with DPS. So what's going to happen when I'm rolling with Overwatch, I'm going to buff my team's weapon and skill damage by 12% because I will stick in cover and I will do cover-to-cover moves to make sure that that talent is always procced. As long as you stay in cover for 10 seconds, then it is active. You move from cover, guys, you know what's going to happen. You're going to lose that damage. So if your teammates, it makes them redundant because you're not giving them that buff. So this is, in my opinion, the best chess piece talent to use in legendary content. It is excellent. Next one, guys, is Unbreakable. Now we know what Unbreakable does. Let me just quickly go over it. When your armor is depleted, repair 95% of your armor. The cooldown is 60 seconds. Now I know a lot of people who roll solo, and when they roll solo in any content, will be control points, heroic missions. Unbreakable is a really good choice to have. Now, if you're going to roll in a group, I would avoid Unbreakable. There is no need to roll with Unbreakable because it does not benefit you and your teammates. It benefits solely you. You get much more benefit if you roll with a tardigrade chest piece, because that will give you that 80% bonus armor to your teammates when they lose armor. So that is an excellent choice. I prefer that for team missions or team synergy. If you can roll solo and you're a solo player, get yourself Unbreakable. Unbreakable will help. Again, you lose out some nice damage, understandably, but make sure on the backpack you have either tech support or combined arms to make sure your damage output is as high as it can be, given you're losing so much damage from the chest piece talent. Unbreakable, good choice. I think it's good for solo, and that is about it. It's a decent talent to have. We have Vanguard. Now, Vanguard, we know, is not a skill build talent, but let's go over it. Deploying a shield makes it invulnerable for 5 seconds and grants 45% of your total armor as bonus armor to all other allies for 20 seconds. Again, this is an amazing talent for shield builds. If you're on a shield build, you've got to roll with Vanguard. You want that extra damage. I feel it's go-to, but guys, it's not for skill builds. Sorry to say. The next one, guys, is Glass Cannon. This is the one we're going to get so much talk about in the comments section. All damage you deal is amplified by 25%. All damage you take is amplified by 50%. Now again, with this, guys, this is multiplicative damage, which means it is more than additive damage. The way it's calculated, you will do more damage with Glass Cannon because it's multiplicative. With that being said, you have to again factor in that for legendary content, you're going to roll with Glass Cannon, you have to be on your toes. You have to be on your A game every minute of the way, because you're so susceptible to drop and very, very quickly. Yes, you may do a huge amount of damage, but what's coming in? One shot, you're pretty much lost all your armor and your health, and one more little shot and you are dead. So for me, if you're a conservative player, avoid Glass Cannon. If you're, again, very hardcore, you feel you can, again, hack having that absolute Glass Cannon-esque setup, then yes, it will work for you, it will work for your build, and you'll do some nice damage. Just don't go down. Nobody likes a dead agent. Glass Cannon can be the best talent to use in the game, but also it could be one of the worst, because again, I've seen very many inexperienced agents been dropped time and time again, and me and my teammates have had to pick their ass up because they're using Glass Cannon and boasting about how much damage they do. Guys, if you're dead, you're not doing any damage. Simple. So make sure if you use Glass Cannon, you are on point every single time. Protected Reload. Again, this is another talent I would not use on your skill builds. It doesn't have any place for a skill build. Let's talk about it. Grants 20% bonus armor while reloading. Grants 0 to 18% of your armor as bonus armor to all other allies when they're reloading based on your defensive core attribute. Again, as I said, guys, I wouldn't use this on a skill build. You're not going to get anything back. It's not really going to bonus or benefit anyone really on a skill build. The bonus is you'll get a minimal because you've got not a lot of core attributes being defensive. So I would avoid this like the plague. Sorry, folks. Gunslinger, again, this is another talent where I would not use on any skill build. Weapon swapping increases total weapon damage by 20% for 5 seconds. This buff is lost for 5 seconds if you weapon swap while it is active. Again, when you're rolling a skill build, your skills are doing most of the work. Your weapons are there just to proc the extra damage. So Gunslinger, sorry guys, it's a no-go. And the same for Focus. Increases total weapon damage by 5% every second you are aiming, was scoped 8 times or higher, up to 50%. And you require a scope with 8 times magnetation or higher. Again, another talent I would not use on any skill build. Spark. Damaging enemies with a skill increases total weapon damage by 15% for 15 seconds. Now, would I use this on a skill tier 6 build? No, I wouldn't. I'd use this on a hybrid build. But you have different options that you can utilize as well. So, for example, Overwatch, for example, Spotter, for example, Spark. This is a decent alternative, and that 15% weapon damage is nice, but I'd also like that 15% skill damage. So I would choose Spotter over Spark, use Technician, use that laser pointer, and I feel you'd get much more bang for your buck by using Spotter. Not to say Spark is a bad talent, Spark is an okay talent. I don't feel it does enough for me in the long run. Braced. While in cover, weapon handling is increased by 45%. This is not a talent I would use on any skill build. This is simply for an LMG in my opinion, because you can shoot like a laser beam with your Pestilence, with your Negev, with your L86, with anything. You'll be in an absolute wonderful position if you're using Braced on the chest piece. Guys, skill build, Braced, nada, not happening. Obliterate. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds. It stacks for 25 times. Again, same as the last one, you don't use this for any skill builds, guys. Stay away from this talent. It is not going to help you one iota. So don't use this on your skill builds. And the funny thing is, I have seen this in a legendary mission on a skill build. They had tech support on the backpack. They had Obliterate on the chest piece. And guys, we say, and this is the thing why I'm doing this video, we say, oh, maybe they're an inexperienced agent. Maybe, you know, maybe the SHD level 30. No, guys, this was SHD level 1500. Trust me, some people just don't know how to build. That's why I'm doing this video. Sorry, that's the way it is. Trauma. Trauma applies blind to an enemy hit in the head. The cooldown is 30 seconds. Applies bleed to an enemy hit in the chest, and the cooldown is 30 seconds. Now, with trauma, let's just get one thing out of the way. The procs from blind or bleed are not boosted by your status effect attributes. It is a flat, it's about 5 seconds that you will get for you to try and take down these NPCs, and the cooldown is 30 seconds. It is a wonderful talent to use on status effect builds. And you're thinking, but hang about. You could use the Eclipse Protocol chest piece that will just increase the range of spreading the vile mask of love, as an example. Yes, I agree. But with trauma, you are applying so many different status effects, and that's why I like mixing trauma up with different status effect skill variants. So, for example, you have blind and bleed on this. Let's add some burn into the mix. Let's add some shock into the mix. There's so many different options on how to roll trauma. Now, for me, this is a really good status effect chest piece talent. Maybe not the best chest piece talent, but it is a very, very good alternative, and it's nice. Also pairs with very nicely Creeping Death. Yeah, so once enemies get blind or they become bleeding their ass off, you know what's going to happen. It's going to spread that love to enemies which are really close and personal. So trauma, guys, it's a really excellent talent to have on your builds. Trust me, it is. Mad Bomber. Grenade radius is increased by 50%. Grenades that kill an enemy are refunded. Grenades can now be cooked by holding the fire button, making them explode earlier. Gain 15% bonus armor while aiming grenades. Now, I did a skill build way back, which included the Mad Bomber chest piece. It was stupid fun. I had so much fun rolling with this talent. But, guys, there's a huge but. You cannot go beyond heroic content with the Mad Bomber talent. It won't offer you anything. It won't offer you a single iota. The amount of damage you can do from nades is not enough to kill an NPC. It will not one-shot a legendary NPC. At best, you'll take off a fraction of its armor. So this makes Mad Bomber in legendary content redundant. Also, the raids, I would not use this in any content other than heroics and below. Challenging missions, guys, if you just want to have fun, you're rolling around, or even hard missions, you just want to do speed runs, then it is a really good talent to use. It's a fun talent to use. And what I did with this is use the grenades from the firewall specialization. But you could use survivalist for the bleed nades. You could use demolitionist with fire. There's so many different options you could roll with on this. But for me, it is a quirky talent. I would not go with this for anything else other than having a quirky little time. That's it. Reassigned. Killing an enemy adds 1 round of random special ammo into your sidearm. The cooldown is 15 seconds. Now, there was a guy who did ask about me putting out a reassigned build video. And I was like, oh man, no. I love you, mate. You're a loyal subscriber. You watch my content. You always comment on my videos, but reassigned. Now, I'm all for having fun in this game, and that's my mantra with any game is have fun. But reassigned, it has no place on any build, in my opinion. It is just, yeah, it's not a skill build talent, so guys, look past this. That's all I'm going to say on reassigned is a nada. Tamper Proof. Enemies that walk within 3 meters of your hive, turret, or remote pulse are shocked. The arm time is 2 seconds. The cooldown per skill is 10 seconds. Now, this is one of the kind of off-meta, underused, undervalued skill talents to have, but is also excellent. I do feel before I carry on with Tamper Proof, it needs a little buff. I would say the arm time could be, again, a little bit higher, but the cooldown be a little bit less. I'd like to see some additional damage with this as well. 3 meters, let's make it 5 meters. I'd love to see that. I feel this particular chest piece talent, which is used in the raid, might add, for people with no skill builds, and that's used in a raid for that crowd control, simple, and take down with huge DPS, any adds. Tamper Proof for skill builds offers so much crowd control. For example, roll with this with the Scorpio shotgun. You have shock from your Scorpio, you have shock from Tamper Proof. However, one thing to add, it does not work with Galvanize on the backpack, which again will proc the extra 40% damage. It does not proc the extra 40% damage, but it is a wonderful talent to have and something that offers so much crowd control for NPCs. Again, I would use this with a turret as opposed to a hive or even a remote pulse. If I'm going to roll with it as a hive, it would have to be for a heal hive. I don't feel you get the most from it if you're using the hive stinger. But the turret is the best way to go in my opinion, but still a wonderful, wonderful chest piece talent. I recommend it for status effect builds, that's for sure. Efficient. Using an armor kit has a 50% chance to not consume the armor kit. Specialization armor kit bonuses are increased by 100%. Now, this is not a skill build chest piece talent. However, it can be. This can synergize really well with, for example, Energize on the backpack. So you could effectively have overcharge very, very often. More often what you would normally have through the Acosta's Go bag. So would I use this in any format of the game? I have used it on a build. It is okay at best. It is decent. However, there are much better ways to go just to get extra flat damage anyway. So efficient, has uses, but I wouldn't recommend it on your builds, guys. Yeah, I'm sorry. Without Energize, it has very little point on a skill build. This is more for PvP, in my opinion. And the last two talents, again, guys, they are not skill build talents, which are Headhunter and Entrench. I would not use these on my skill builds in the very slightest. 1 iota, I'd avoid them like the plague. They have no place on my builds, and they shouldn't be on yours as well. But guys, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up there. Those are the chest piece talents. Hopefully I've gone into them with great detail. You've seen some footage as well. But for me, guys, is variety is the spice of life. There are still an abundance of chest piece talents you can use that will really, again, push on your skill builds, especially in group synergy. But of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. And in a few days' time, expect to see the backpack version of this video. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.